Have you ever wanted an entire army of bugs following you around everywhere you go with insane ability regen time while also having incredible uptime on your super and transcendence? Well, look no further. Mako's Buck here, and today we are going to release the bugs. I recently was very lucky to get a specific role on the Warlock Exotic class item bond, and it allows this build to do some silly things. What is that role? I'm talking about Spirit of Inmost Light combined with Spirit of the Swarm. Spirit of Inmost Light is derived from the Titan Exotic chestplate Heart of Inmost Light, which grants your other two abilities faster regen when you use one ability. This perk is absolutely juiced with Prismatic. Spirit of the Swarm is an exotic warlock perk which destroying a tangle spawns Threadlings, and we will be making a lot of tangles with this setup. Without further ado, let's get into the build, starting with your Prismatic subclass setup. Your super will be Needle Storm because more bugs. This also works directly with some fragments and artifact perks that just makes the build flow a lot smoother. Your abilities will be Phoenix Dive, Jump is preference, Melee is preference. However, I've been enjoying the Stasis Melee for an instant freeze button for those moments where it is needed, and your grenade will of course be Threadling Grenade. Moving on to the aspects, starting with Feed the Void. Defeat a target with any ability to activate Devour. Get additional kills to extend Devour's timer, restore health, and grant grenade energy. Your second aspect will be Weaver's Call. Activate your class ability to weave 3 Threadlings and deploy any Threadlings you have perched. Targets defeated by strand damage have a chance to generate a perched Threadling. Your fragments will be Facet of Balance. Rapidly defeating targets with light energy grants you melee energy, and rapidly defeating targets with darkness energy grants you grenade energy. This obviously synergizes perfectly with Inmost Light. Next will be Facet of Awakening. Rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super final blows generates an elemental pickup of the matching damage type. A Facet of Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. Speaking of elemental buffs, the next fragment will be Facet of Purpose, and since you are on a strand super, picking up an Orb of Power grants you Woven Mail. And lastly, Facet of Protection. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. This effect is increased while transcendent. And now that your subclass is set up, let's check out the armor mods. Starting with the helmet, you will want double ashes to assets. Defeating targets with grenades grants you super energy and heavy ammo finder. Your arms will be firepower. Defeating a target with a grenade will generate an orb of power. Fastball, so you can throw your Threadlings further, and an elemental loader matching your primary weapon. I am using a solar primary, so I have on solar loader. Chest will be damage and elemental resistances matching the activity and enemy you are fighting. Your legs will be recuperation. Picking up an orb of power replenishes health. Orb of restoration. Picking up an orb of power grants energy to your least charged ability, and stacks on stacks. Picking up an orb of power grants you 1 extra armor charge. Why the extra armor charges? Your bond will be double utility kickstart. When your class ability is fully expended, your armor charge is consumed and you gain class ability energy for each armor charge used. And powerful attraction. Using your class ability will pick up nearby orbs of power. With all that said, let's move on to the weapons loadout, which is actually rather situational and preference to the activity you are doing. You do want to at least bring a strand weapon so that you generate more tangles, and shooting a tangle will cause a bigger blast due to how the artifact is set up. For time purposes, I will just drop a list of the artifact perks in the description of the video below. Speaking of the description, you may notice a link for Advanced GG there. Reminder that I am a partner now, and using that link with the code GETBUCK30 will get you 30% off your entire order. For the strand weapon I have been using with this build, the Call works wonders. If you were blessed with the Raid Exotic Euphony, this also is amazing on this build. I still prefer solar weapons with incandescent in the energy slot. Some good examples of add clear solar weapons would be Zeuli's Bane, Sunshot, Nullify, or Heliocentric. Just make sure they have at least incandescent on them. If you are not using Euphony in the kinetic slot and have the free exotic slot, Microchasm is always an amazing choice for your heavy slot. Other than that, I would go with a strand heavy weapon so that you can continue with the strand tangle synergy and make the most of Threaded Blast. Threaded Blast is a must-have on your artifact, as shooting it with a strand weapon causes a massive explosion and also releases Threadlings now because of Spirit of the Swarm. Your stackles for this build will be 100 Resilience, always in PvE for the free damage reduction, 100 Discipline for maximum Threadling Grenade uptime, and high Strength since we are using Spirit of Inmost Light and you want all 3 abilities up as much as possible. Don't worry too much about recovery, as you will be activating Devour almost all of the time, and the armor mods will keep your class ability charged. If you like this video, be sure to drop a heart, subscribe, and turn those notifications on. See you next time.